And now, live from downtown Amarillo, Texas, this is the Amarillo Pioneer Podcast. Here's your host and the editor of the Amarillo Pioneer, Thomas Warren.
Hello, everyone. It has been a long time since we've gotten to do these City Council podcasts, but we are back, and we are so excited tonight to kick things off with one of the candidates who is running for a seat on the Amarillo City Council. She is running to replace retiring City Councilman Cole Stanley, who is himself running to replace retiring Mayor Ginger Nelson. The candidate is Sherie Wood, and she is going to be spending the next half hour with us talking about why she's running, telling you a little bit about herself, and trying to win your vote for May. So before we get started, Sherie, thanks so much for being with us. Thanks for being the first candidate to talk to us this cycle. How are you this evening, and how are you feeling about the campaign?
Well, thank you first of all for having me. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking, and I'm just ready to get started with the campaign.
Well, that is great news. So a lot of voters in Amarillo are probably not familiar with you yet, since the election's just started. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into this race.
Awesome. Well, I was born and raised here in Amarillo. Was actually born at the Southwest Osteopathic Hospital before Northwest and BSA were even invented. But I have two beautiful daughters. They're both Autumn and Jordan. They're adult ladies right now, and I'm very proud of them. Also, I lived in Canyon, and then I lived a little bit in Happy, but I graduated from Amarillo High in '92. And 2005, I became a certified medical assistant. Here and there around town, I would help out from there with the homeless people, going to the parks and helping feed them. I also would help with the snack pack for kids. Um, I'm just an all-around normal, regular person who is ready to see a change in Amarillo. Right now, I work for Amazon. I'm a forklift driver, and um, I'm just ready to get started with the campaign and everything. I mean, I love to get to meet new people. I've already been around talking to a lot of people and letting them know about what's been going on. So I just love Amarillo, and I'm just ready for a change.
Absolutely. I want to ask specifically about your work at Amazon. If you look at the candidates who are running right now, or who are currently serving the people who have been on the city council the last 2 to 6 years, depending on when they got elected. Most of them are business owners. They are people with white collar jobs, attorneys, dentists, people like that. And you can go back years and years on the city council, and it's been like that. We've had doctors on there. We've had lawyers on there. We haven't had a whole lot of people who are, those who have just average working jobs. And so what kind of different perspective do you think that would provide the citizens of Amarillo if you were elected and kind of change the game on the city council?
Well, because like I said, I like to work with people. I know that in the past, when I have had a normal regular job, I have been a manager. I've been an assistant manager. I've been around, and just being able to uh, get look at the budget and everything else like that. And I'm really a voice for the people because they're the ones who are voting for us, and they're the ones who really have a say in what we should do for them. Uh, I just feel that with my job experience, and even though yes, I'm a regular worker, I do I do Lyft and I also do Uber, so I do get to talk a lot to a lot of people whenever I take them places. So just being able to be a part of the city council would be a new experience for me, but it would be something that I'm used to with the other jobs that I've had in the past. And I'm just, just ready to get started, to get the ball rolling. But it's something new that I'll be able to learn as I go. So.
So, was there any specific issue that caused you to run for city council this year, or anything specific that you saw happen at City Hall where you said, hey, I feel like that really kind of gives me a sign that we need a change at City Hall?
Well, there's a couple of them. For example, the Civic Center situation, of course, everybody knows about that already. But transparency and accountability are one of my main driven goals for being city council. We need to make sure we are transparent for the citizens of Amarillo, because it's their tax-paying dollars that's getting uh, you know, dealt with. And with the Civic Center situation, I was not too happy with because it got voted down, what, 2 times, and they decided on their own that, well, that wasn't good enough for them. So they decided, well, let's just go ahead and do it without them knowing. And I'm just glad that Alex Fairley went ahead and took it upon himself to sue them because he won, but now they're appealing it. So that's one of the things that I want to bring forth to City Council, is that I can show transparency for what we're actually going to be doing for the citizens of Amarillo. Another thing that made me want to run for City Council uh, was that people in North Amarillo, whether it's west or east, are not being paid attention to. Um, it looks like we're building more businesses in downtown area, or south of Amarillo, east or west, but the north needs to be brightened up a little more, because there's not a whole lot of business up in the north. So I figured maybe if I run for city council, I'd be able to be a voice for the people in the north as well as everyone else around Amarillo.
Sure. So I'll ask you, what specific changes are you going to try to make on the city council to improve our city?
Well, I know that we, of course, our infrastructure needs change. We need to change, things that are local first before we even deal with anything outside. So the infrastructure needs to be updated, especially with the pipelines in the city. I know some of the pipelines they need to be replaced. I don't know if you even know this, but some of the pipelines, the water pipelines or whatnot, are still made of wood, and so we need to get that changed and fixed out. But other things need to be updated, um, like the potholes around town that people keep telling me about because they keep ruining their cars each time they hit them. I know a lot of other things, like we need more businesses in town. Um, I want to work mostly with the small businesses, the mom and pop places, to be able to get them with their voices heard as well. But and I'm also with the single member district. I'm for all that. That way, everybody can get their voices heard whenever needed be.
Sure, sure. Well, on the Civic Center issue, you mentioned that a little while ago. Do you feel like any changes need to be made to the Civic Center? Do you feel like we need renovations of the Civic Center, or is that something that you just feel like probably should not be addressed by the upcoming city council?
Well, it does need to be renovated or at least fixed up, but like I said, it can be put on hold for now while other more important things need to be done. But yeah, we do need to look at the civic center. Just kind of put it on the side for a little bit until you know, kind of maybe work on a little bit of the stuff, but um, it's not as important as some of the things that really need paid attention to here in Amarillo.
Absolutely, sure. A issue I want to ask about. We've asked candidates this for the last few election cycles, and I'll kind of set up the background on it. Every year, the Republican Party of Texas issues its legislative priorities. The delegates to the state convention say what the priorities for the party should be and what they want their elected officials to make progress on. And this year, it's not in the top 10 priorities, but it was in the final 14 for consideration that delegates put forward. And that's the issue of taxpayer-funded lobbying. When you go back and you look at the amount that the city of Amarillo spent on taxpayer-funded lobbying, I believe it was last legislative session, they disclosed that they spent up to $460,000 of your tax money to pay the salaries of these wealthy Austin lobbyists, probably many of whom, don't live in Amarillo. They don't work in Amarillo regularly, but, hey, your government officials are paying them with your tax money. And that's kind of been an issue for the last few election cycles. So I want to get your opinion on this, get your position on this. Should the city of Amarillo continue participating in taxpayer-funded lobbying, or should the city council take the bold step that lawmakers won't take and actually say, hey, we're not going to spend tax money on this anymore?
I actually am against the lobbying for many reasons. But one is, yes, you're right. The citizens of Amarillo need to understand or know where their tax-paying dollars are going to, and we just I'm just on a firm no on that one because I don't believe in um, being able to tax our citizens because first of all they need to know, again, transparency. They need to know what's going on with their money, and it's you know a lot of people are against it as well, but I am definitely a firm no on it. So I would take a stand against it if I were to be on city council and say, you know what, this is not something we need to be doing. The citizens don't want it, so we should pay attention to them because, like I said, they are the voice of the people. They are their own voices, and they need to be heard. And I'm hearing them loud and clear. So I just really don't want to participate in something like this because it's just something that I am very unpassionate about, and it just needs to be taken off.
I'll also ask you about the single member districts issue. I think this issue has been around since, the 80s and 90s. We've been talking about in Amarillo. But should Amarillo switch to single member districts? Do you feel like that's a change we need, or are you happy with the current way that the city council is set up?
Well, like I said, I am for single member districts. The reason being is because not a lot of people um, are being paid attention to. So we need, certain people in every district. That way, we can maybe have town hall meetings um, from the city hall meetings. That way, we can listen to the citizens' inputs. But that way, each district is being taken care of, and we can take their inputs and bring it together to the city council and talk about it. But we need to be there to show them that we care for them and that we're here for them because, you know, that's what city council is supposed to be. And I mean, if I were to choose a city council person, I would want to know uh, that they're going to be a listener as well as a speaker, but really listen at heart. And that's what I'm there for, as a listener, and then take their inputs and then put it together and just make it into something that they know that they're going to be heard, and they're going to be like, okay, well, I like this person. But that's me. I'm a single member district person. I'd rather have every single district in Amarillo taken care of.
So for some context for anybody listening to this, because I'm sure people will listen to this probably through May, we're recording this tonight on February 17th. So early in the election cycle. And I don't know if this is going to be an issue that sticks around, but at least for the last few months, it's been something that's been talked about. Where do you come down on the drag show issue? I don't know that it's going to be a huge issue in this election, but over the last few months, we've heard some people like Alex Fairley and Ginger Nelson talk about it. Do you have any firm or really strong feelings about the city of Amarillo's position as far as the drag show is concerned?
I am uh I'm really against it. I'm a Christian and everything like that, and I'm a firm believer in um just straight people. But drag shows, it's uh something that I don't really feel needed to be here. Well, it's okay for those that are interested in it, but for me, I didn't like it whenever they were here earlier in the year or whatnot, or I think it was last year whenever they were here last. But with regarding to kids and things like that, um, that's just something kids should not be able to watch. So I'm a firm believer against the drag shows for kids per se. But I'm just not crazy about it at all.
Well, I want to do this because this is a city council election. And, we've talked to candidates on this podcast who've run for governor and for Senate and even president, people that, our listeners at least are probably somewhat familiar with. But these are city council races, right? And
Right.
people might not be that familiar with you. Even though you're their neighbor and win or lose, they're going to have to live in the same town with you. So
Right.
I want to ask a few questions, and we came up with these to see if we can get a better read on who Sherie Wood actually is. So just keep your answers kind of short and sweet on these, or if you feel like you need to elaborate on one, go ahead. But hopefully this will give people a better chance to get to know you. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about Amarillo?
My favorite thing about Amarillo is uh well, there's a lot of favorite things about Amarillo that I like, but the one that I like is that people are really friendly. We've got some of the greatest tourist attractions, like the Cadillac Ranch or the Big Texan or even Route 66. And I'm, I'm just a passionate person when it comes to people itself. So yeah, just people in general is my favorite thing about Amarillo.
Good. Next up, what's your favorite restaurant in Amarillo, and what's your go-to order when you go there?
Uh, oh my goodness, there's many choices on that one, but I would have to say my favorite restaurant would be mm, Chili's, because they have a lot of different uh, uh, stuff on the menu. My favorite thing is getting the 2 for 25 or the 2 for 20. I'm not for sure which one it is, but I love authentic food and everything else like that. So when I go there, my go-to food is uh, the shrimp and steak and stuff like that. So
Who's been the most influential person in your life?
the most important influential person in my life has been my husband. He's been there with me for over 20 years. We haven't been married that long, but he's been a friend before he was my husband, and he's just been someone that's always been there for me and never has let me down. So he's been the most influential for me.
If you lived anywhere in the United States other than somewhere in Texas, where would you live?
Mm, I would probably live in Florida just for the simple fact that they have a lot of different amusement parks, and it's a lot more sunny there. It's not as cold as it is here in Texas. So it's, I mean, it's the most favorite place that I would like to go. I haven't been there before, but one day I'd like to go. But yeah, Florida would be my one that I'd move to.
Sure. What is your most unpopular opinion?
My most unpopular opinion.
Yes. What opinion do you hold dear that you know is probably unpopular?
Ah, oh my goodness.
And nothing that'll lose you votes. Just something
Right.
fun.
um, I don't know. I guess the most unpopular opinion that I'd have is that I don't like Satan. Like I said, I'm a God worshiper, and I'm very much into Christian. I take God with me every day, and so yeah, that'd be my most unpopular one is my opinion about Satan.
And this one is special for you, and you could take a minute to kind of elaborate on it. But tell us about your acting career, because I know that you and I spoke a little bit about it on the phone, I guess a few weeks ago. But I know you
Yes.
were in a couple of short film, or I guess you were in a short film and a movie. But tell us a little bit about that and how you got started with that.
Sure. Well, I've first of all, I was in a 48-hour film, and it was called Dearly Hyphenated Departed, and I didn't know about it until I saw it on Facebook, and I got interested in it. So I was like, okay, maybe it's something that I could learn to do, and I was able to do it, and I enjoyed doing it. I acted with a few of the locals here in town. So the 48-hour film that I did was a local here in Amarillo, which I enjoyed very much. Um, and then the film that I was in was it was called The Black Rider Revelation Road 3. It starred Kevin Sorbo and David A.R. White. I got to meet them two in person, and I heard about that on Facebook as well. They were saying that they were going to do interviews, and you had to apply for it. So I did that. They filmed it down in Happy. So since I used to live there before, I decided to go ahead and put my name on the application, and they went ahead and sent me an email and said, go ahead and come down. I got to be an extra in it. When I got to meet Kevin Sorbo, he was the most funnest person that I have ever talked to. He talked more about being overseas than anything, but he didn't mind me taking pictures with them, and I just enjoyed it tremendously. It is a Christian movie, and yes, I was part of the apocalypse part where it was after everything had already happened. But I enjoyed it, and I enjoy acting because I've been acting ever since high school. I was in my high school theater. Um, and I'm also a singer. I've been singing since I was 4 years old, and I started in my church singing. And now, every now and then, whenever they have auditions for Amarillo Little Theater or Amarillo Opera, I will go and audition. As a matter of fact, I recently was in the musical Guys and Dolls, and I enjoyed it tremendously. It was my first musical with Amarillo Little Theater, and I appreciate them having me be um, a part of their community. So I enjoy doing things like that because it gets me out there, and um, I love to perform in front of a lot of people. So it's something that I'm very passionate about as well.
Well, so you were running in a race with 6 opponents, I guess, at this point. I don't know if you heard, but you got another person who filed in your race today. Um, and it's going to be a very busy election cycle. 23 candidates running total for 5 seats on the city council in your race. Like I said, 7 candidates total: Margie Gonzalez, Ray White, Kelsey Richardson, Josh Kraft, you, Sherie Wood, Dean Crump, and Chip Hunt. Those are the candidates running in your race. So, you're looking at that field of 7 people. Voters might be looking at this group of candidates and they might say, I don't know who I'm going to vote for of this group. Why don't you just take a minute and tell them why you're the best candidate that they need to vote for from this group?
Well, I'm the best candidate to vote for the group, specifically because of my agenda that I'm going for city council. Like I said, I'm the voice for the people. I'm going to be going door to door to talk to a lot of people. Um, but talking about um, public safety, talking about transparency and accountability. Um, my agenda is also going to be uh, helping with the mom and pop businesses, the small businesses that uh, don't really get looked at very much, the single member districts, the infrastructure that I'm passionate about. I'm also passionate about um, the homeless people, hoping we can find places for them as well as stray dogs. So, just thinking about all that, and hopefully maybe even wanting to lower property taxes is something that most people keep talking to me about. Maybe we can do that as well. If you'll look into what I'm most passionate about and everything, and going out and wanting to do town halls and just wanting to be out there and speak with them. That's why I feel like I'm the best candidate, because I can actually get out there and reach the people that I need to reach. My motto is rejuvenate Amarillo, rejuvenating the people.
Excellent. If somebody wants to get involved with your campaign, if they want to help out, donate, get a yard sign, anything like that, where can they go to do that, or how can they help you get elected to the city council?
Well, they can either go to my website at Sherie Wood for Amarillo City Council .com, or they can go to my Facebook page, which is Sherie Wood for Amarillo City Council Place 1. And I've got both of them ready to go. I don't quite have any yard signs up yet, but I will come within a week or two. So just go to those websites and pages and donate, for my campaign, and just look to see what I'm all about, and we can go from there.
Absolutely. Well, Sherie Wood, we appreciate you being with us tonight. Election day is May 6th. You still have plenty of time to make your decisions, but, come on, you need to be researching the candidates. And so we're glad that you got to spend this evening with us and listening to Sherie Wood. We appreciate you for listening, and Sherie, we really do appreciate you for coming on here tonight, and we wish you all the best on this campaign and the best of luck during this entire journey that you're taking. So we appreciate you being with us, and best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.